And from then, it's like that's about the time I started doing the videos, and I just said I'm going to have to walk through this pain, and I didn't know what to expect, and it was nothing short of brutal. I mean, it was I had what I would consider a complete breakdown. I saw a therapist for a while, which helped some, and I started doing the videos, and I started reading about getting through this. And what happened with my videos is I connected with a lot of people that see, like we've talked about a little bit. You feel like you're the only one. You don't realize that other people are going through this stuff. I had always thought, a psychopath is Charles Manson, a serial killer or whatever. I don't realize that they're out here walking amongst us, sociopaths and borderlines. And so I met a lot of people, mostly online, but started communicating with other people who have experienced this, and we were in different phases, of healing. But it was kind of reassuring to me, because once you start telling your story and you talk to somebody else and they're like, oh, hey, me too, that's what I went through, and you start connecting, then you start seeing the picture. And then, I just kind of accepted the fact that I was going to hurt for a while. I didn't know how long, but anything was better than to continue living like that and to continue begging this person to love me the way that she should, or any of it. I was just so done with it. And that was not easy, because I was really caught up in that cycle, and you become almost addicted to them. In fact, it's very much like an addiction. She became my fix. And I just accepted the fact that I'm going to have to go through this process, and it was very, very painful. But before too long, I started seeing that I really was getting better, and so it was encouraging. And little by little, I just started longer stretches of time that I would feel better, and and then it just kind of grew from there. And the videos that I did, really in the beginning, it's like I had this 6-year crazy experience with tons of different experiences and things that happened throughout the relationship that was all just floating around in my head, just driving me crazy. So I had to get it out. I had to get the whole thing out, because a lot of it's embarrassing. At the time, you take it on like you've done something wrong. You feel ashamed, and really we shouldn't. I mean, we've been victims to this. But at the time, you feel ashamed that you've allowed yourself to be treated like this. I think a lot like women who are in physically abusive relationships, they go through the same thing. It's humiliating, and so I didn't want to talk about it. I held a lot of it in for a long time, and I just needed to get it all out. So I start doing the videos with no real direction or aim, and I just was raw. My videos are not scripted. I didn't really know what I would say before I'd go on, and it was just a matter of going through my life, through my story, and it started feeling so good to get it out, and then to talk to these people that had shared similar experiences. And then, the other part of it was to have people tell me, hey, you've opened my eyes to my situation, and they would start getting better. And then I started thinking, wow, this is really a positive, good thing, and I went through that for quite a while. I'm not sure how long I was doing the videos, maybe a year, I'm not sure. And then I would do little update videos here and there, but then it got to a point where like we were saying earlier, I had to kind of remove myself from it, and I got involved in another relationship that was good. It was healthy. I'm not in it now, but it didn't end bad. It wasn't anything like that other one. So I went through a lot of things, and I was just settling into my new life away from this. And I want to really point out one thing. There's a term called, no contact. You have to get to a point with these people where there's no contact. I say have to. I guess that's not fair to say, because some people unfortunately have kids with these people, and no contact isn't always completely possible. But for a while after the relationship, like I I would drive by her house. She always denied this second affair or this last affair that ended it. But yet this person's car would be in her driveway night after night after night. You know, all the evidence was there. And ultimately I found out 100% sure that it was an affair. But at first I was driving myself crazy with it. You know, I would try to find out what she was doing and if she's still with that person. And I wasn't necessarily talking to her so much. There were a few episodes, but I finally had to get to a point where I had no contact. I didn't ask about her. In fact, I wouldn't let people talk to me about her. I would drive a different direction so I wouldn't see what's going on in her home. I didn't try to find out anything about her. I completely cut her off out of my life. I wouldn't accept her trying to contact me. And outside of going to court for the divorce and the necessities, I completely cut her out of my life. And that's what I needed to get. I needed to get to that point. But that's when you've really gotten to the point of accepting the truth. You know, accepting that it's over. And once I did that, I really started healing. And then, you know, I kind of went through this process a little bit aimlessly. I mean, I read a lot. I watched videos. So I did learn some things, but I didn't have like a plan starting off. It just unfolded the way it did. And it's worked out really, really good. And I remember it, you know, for quite some time. I thought I will never, ever be happy again. I just thought I couldn't even remember how it really felt to be truly happy.
That's
I
crazy.
remember that I had been, yeah. But I just thought that's over. But I thought if I'm ever to be happy again, I have to go through this process. And I've been amazed. You know, in the last several months, I am very happy and completely good with that relationship being over. I don't miss her. I don't love her. I'm pretty indifferent when it comes to her, as a matter of fact. I don't even have the hatred that I once had because I had deep resentment and hatred towards her for a long time. And, you know, it was part of the process. I had to go through that. But at some point, I think we have to move past that for our own well-being, you know. And I just am really indifferent towards her now. Ultimately, it's sad because I don't think these people choose this, you know. But as is the case with any other abuser, you know, my concern more is with the victim. You know, anytime a person is abusing another human being, you know, whether they're a child or, you know, a man beating up a woman, it's just not okay. You know, there's just nothing okay about it. And so anyway, back on point. I guess I get a little sidetracked. Yeah, I remember thinking it's just, I was so depressed and just general sense of sadness for so long. But then I just started discovering, you know, hey, I laughed a little bit, you know, hey, that made me smile, and I started believing in the ability to be happy again. And I didn't really know that it would ever happen, but I can tell you it absolutely has happened. I'm very, very happy today. A lot of peace in my life, and I can actually even see where this has played a good role in my life now. You know, not that I would ever want to go through it again, or I would certainly hate to see anybody else have to go through it, but I think ultimately it's made me a better person.
That's great to hear.